मजबूर किया गया तो हम कल FIR भी दर्ज करवाएंगे, हम केस भी लड़ेंगे, लेकिन उसमें हिंदुस्तान के हजारों लड़कों का रेसलिंग का करियर खत्म होने की कगार पे हो जाएगा।
चाहते कि हमारे ऊपर कोई कल किसी का भी आप लोगों में से किसी का बच्चा रेसलिंग में आए तो वो किसी दबाव में प्रैक्टिस करे, खुल के अपना जो जीवन है, अपनी जो ट्रेनिंग है वो कर सके।
जिन लोगों से ये चाहते हैं उनके समक्ष भी बात रखूंगी, चाहे वो प्रधानमंत्री जी हो। हमारी सरकार ने अब तक आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि उनको बेहतर करने का टाइम भी दे दिया है जवाब देने के लिए। कुछ भी होने से पहले एक खिलाड़ी, आज मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि इनकी समस्या का मैं समाधान जरूर निकलवा दूं।
यही कहूंगा, खिलाड़ियों ने जो आरोप लगाए वो गंभीर किस्म के हैं और उसका संज्ञान लेते हुए भारत सरकार ने, खेल मंत्रालय ने तुरंत कार्रवाई करते हुए रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया को नोटिस भी दिया, 72 घंटे के अंदर जवाब भी मांगा है।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. India's most decorated wrestlers, including Bajrang, Punia, Vinesh, Phogat and Sakshi Malik, continue their protest against Wrestling Federation President Brij Bhushan Singh in the national capital. They have accused WFI President of corruption, sexual harassment, torture and exploitation. They claim the WFI has encouraged a culture of sexual exploitation of female wrestlers, adding that they have received death threats for raising concerns. Today, they have said that over 5 female wrestlers have come forward with allegations demanding the WFI president step down for a free and fair probe. That's not too much to ask. The athletes also met the sports secretary today to highlight their demands. But after the meeting, they said they haven't received any satisfactory response from the government and if needed, they will approach the police. The WFI chief refuted the allegations, saying he will not resign and is ready for any probe. He accused the protesting wrestlers of ignoring their duties, calling their charges a conspiracy, adding that the protesters represent just 3% of India's wrestlers. Taking cognizance of the allegations, the Sports Ministry has sought an explanation from the Wrestling Federation in 3 days, adding that failure to comply will lead to strict action. Meanwhile, Sports Minister Anurag Thakur will meet the wrestlers shortly. These athletes are icons of Indian sports and clearly have been pushed to the limit, which has driven them to protest on the streets demanding justice. Is it time for an immediate probe into these charges? And isn't it incumbent on the WFI president to step down pending an investigation? The eyes of the entire nation and especially the youth who aim to represent India on the world stage are on this protest. The big question is, when will these wrestlers get justice?
For the second straight day, India's most decorated wrestlers landed up at Delhi's Jantar Mantar to protest against Wrestling Federation Chief Brij Bhushan Singh.
इसमें कोई भी पॉलिटिक्स ना घुसाए।
आप यहाँ पे खड़े हो और किसी से डरने की जरूरत नहीं है, हम सब साथ में हैं।
They are demanding action against Singh and several coaches for allegedly sexually harassing and mentally torturing female wrestlers over the years.
दुख की बात है कि पहलवानों को मैच छोड़ के, अपनी ट्रेनिंग छोड़ के यहाँ पे आना पड़ रहा है। हमारे साथ इतना कुछ हुआ है सीनियर में आने के बाद, तो जो सीनियर के हमारे जो पहलवान हैं जिन्होंने आवाज उठाई है, उनके साथ पिछले 8-10 साल में कितना कुछ हुआ होगा, आप वो सोच सकते हैं।
हम चाहते हैं कुश्ती एक नए जीवन को।
Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist Bajrang Punia accused Singh of running the federation like a dictator.
चाहते कि हमारे ऊपर कोई कल किसी का भी आप लोगों में से किसी का बच्चा रेसलिंग में आए तो वो किसी दबाव में प्रैक्टिस करे, खुल के अपना जो जीवन है, अपनी जो ट्रेनिंग है वो कर सके।
Fellow wrestler Babita Phogat came on behalf of the government and assured support to the wrestlers.
मैंने कहा है, मैंने कह दिया है, जो भी खिलाड़ी चाहते हैं कोशिश करेंगे वैसा।
मैम, क्योंकि एक ही डिमांड है खिलाड़ियों की। मैम, आप भी खिलाड़ी हैं और बड़े गंभीर आरोप लगे हैं ब्रिजभूषण जी पे, और आप सरकार की तरफ से
लगे हैं तो उसके ऊपर एक्शन भी लिया गया है, ऐसा नहीं कि एक्शन नहीं लिया गया है।
Soon after, the sports ministry summoned the protesting wrestlers for a meeting.
इस्तीफा तो हम उनका लेके ही रहेंगे। अगर हमें और ज्यादा उकसाया गया तो हम उनको जेल में भी डलवाएंगे। हम चाहते हैं कि उनका इस्तीफा लीजिए और उन पे कार्रवाई की जाए। अगर वो 2 मिनट मेरे सामने बैठ जाएं तो मैं हिंदुस्तान की हर जनता को चैलेंज करती हूँ, उनको मेरे सामने 2 मिनट बिठा दीजिए और वो आंखों में आंखें डाल के बोल दीजिए कि हमने कुछ गलत नहीं किया है।
But the man in the center of the storm, Brij Bhushan Singh, remains defiant.
कोई बिजनेसमैन खुल करके नहीं आया है, लेकिन साजिश है। ये साजिश के तहत हुआ है, क्योंकि 1 सप्ताह पहले तक इसी कमरे में बजरंग पूनिया बैठते थे। 1 सप्ताह पहले साक्षी मलिक यहाँ बैठी थी। 10-15 दिन पहले विनेश अपने पति के साथ बैठे थे। आज 10 दिन पहले, 7 दिन पहले कोई आरोप नहीं था। हमसे उनको कोई शिकायत नहीं थी। ये 1 हफ्ते के अंदर उनको शिकायत पैदा हुई, तो ये बिना कॉन्स्पिरेसी के नहीं है।
Singh has been ruling the roost at the WFI for the last decade. But for how long can he remain unscathed?
And now Indian Olympic Association Chief P.T. Usha has reacted. She has said, and I'm quoting her, the welfare and well-being of athletes is the topmost priority of the IOA. We request athletes to come forward and voice their concerns with us. We will ensure a complete investigation to ensure justice. We have also decided to form a special committee to deal with such situations that may arise in the future for swifter action. So now a lot of reactions that is coming in, and today the government will be meeting these protesting athletes for the second time. These are visuals that are coming straight from Sports Minister Anurag Thakur's home, where protesting athletes, wrestlers have started arriving for that meeting with the Sports Minister. Yash Goyal is joining me live. Yash, so are these athletes hopeful that there will be a solution tonight itself?
Well, absolutely, Maria, and that's the reason this meeting has been called by the sports minister himself, because we have seen how there were earlier meetings which were held today in the sports ministry, where all these top athletes went to meet the officials from sports ministry. And in fact, after they addressed that particular press conference in which they stated that they're still not satisfied with what they've been told, so all the wrestlers, including all the top wrestlers, including Sakshi Malik, Vinesh Phogat, Bajrang, Punia, all have actually reached Union Minister Anurag Thakur's residence. And in fact, all eyes will be on this very particular meet, because till now we have not seen a breakthrough in this entire matter, and in fact we have only seen anger of wrestlers only mounting to a different level. And in fact today they yet again maintained that they will continue their protest in the national capital, though they have left the site today, but tomorrow morning they will yet again they will reach there. But if today's meeting turned out to be a constructive one, we could see that all these wrestlers could be pacified, and in fact there could be some sort of resolution in this entire situation. But as of now, the update is all the top wrestlers have reached Anurag Thakur's residence, which is 22 Akbar Road. And in fact, this meeting is going on, and in fact this meet will only conclude, and a lot of unanswered questions will be answered today, in fact, here in the national capital.
But Yash, what exactly is the solution that they are looking at? Are they looking at just the resignation of a WFI chief, or is there an inquiry? Because the sports ministry has indicated that there will be a panel of 3 that will be set up, in which there will be 2 women like representatives.
Well, Maria, as per this information, what we can understand that the ministry has taken this matter very seriously, and in fact, the players have been saying the same thing. In fact, today when they addressed that particular press conference, they stated that they don't only want resignation of this particular man, they also want this entire ecosystem to be actually rectified, and in fact, they want a dissolution of this particular federation. So we are looking at something very larger than just a resignation of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. So the minister himself has called all the athletes here in the national capital at his residence. In fact, he was not in Delhi when he indicated about this very meet, and now this meeting is on. And in fact, we could also see some reactions from these wrestlers when they leave this particular residence of Anurag Thakur, and then we could understand the entire situation, what happened in that particular meet.
And we will continue to run those visuals. Those are visuals coming in from Sports Minister Anurag Thakur's residence. And let me bring in my guests, as That meeting begins at the Sports Minister's residence. Sudhanshu Mittal, former Vice President of Indian Olympic Association, is joining me live. Sunita Godara is ex-Asian marathon champion. We also have Shagun Chaudhary, Olympic shooter and Asian game medalist. Radhika Khera is the spokesperson of the Congress. Shagun, what could be a possible solution of this crisis?
To start off with, I think every federation needs to have like an athletes committee where they can actually go and talk about their grievances in order to have like a sounding board in terms of if there is an issue, which I feel what I've read about the Wrestling Federation, I don't think that exists. And that was the basic, that's a big red flag.
So they do not have a sexual harassment cell?
Absolutely.
And none of these federations have?
Federations have, but I'm not too sure whether the Wrestling Federation has or not. I know for a fact that the NRAI does have, the National Rifle Association of India, where we can go and talk about our problems to an athletes committee so that it can be discussed. And I also feel it's very important to hear both sides. And being a girl, I also understand that it takes a lot of courage to actually go out there. Something must have gone like really wrong.
Yes.
In order for all these women to actually come out there that they've been sexually harassed for so many years or whatever. But I think there has to be a fair trial in terms of, and if there's truth to the matter, then it will come out eventually.
Yes,
but
and Shagun,
to start off with, I think every federation.
Would you agree that pending inquiry, Brij Bhushan must resign? Then only can there be a free and fair probe. For all that he has been saying in his defense, none of that really holds.
See, resignations, he'll resign, somebody else will come in. The idea is how to find a solution to this, right? It boils down to not a person, but the system.
Yes.
So how do we rectify the system? By getting a resignation from a person, I don't feel that will rectify the system. You have to get to the core and see how do people kind of like guard themselves from being exploited, if they have been, from certain situations by being able to voice their opinions and not, by voicing their opinions within the federation where they are heard. Apparently, in this entire situation, they have not been heard. And that is why they had to sit at Jantar Mantar and they had to protest in this way. So that is my cause for concern, that if there are and the women wrestlers are doing like brilliantly well, we have Olympic medalists and all of that, why isn't there a committee where if there are grievances, why aren't they heard?
Okay, Sudhanshu Mittal, as former Vice President of Indian Olympic Association, why aren't there these committees which should have been there? I mean, what is grievance redressal that the Olympic Association is really offering there?
First and foremost, there has been a complete new constitution of the Indian Olympic Association, which now mandates an athletic commission, and the formulation of that is in place today. So now there is an athletic commission of the Indian Olympic Association, and all the other federations which are affiliated with it are today mandated to have one. So that shall follow. But, let's look at this case specifically. It's a very, very serious allegation and very serious case. And I would not like it to be trivialized in terms of being populist about it. There are two aspects to it. One is the conduct of Mr. Brij Bhushan Singh in terms of sexual exploitation. Now, somebody must come forward. See, sexual exploitation cannot be discussed in generalities. Yeah. There is a system. No, somebody has to say, I have been sexually harassed. This is the incident. And the committees, you see, criminality is not to be dealt by committees. The investigating agencies and the prosecuting agencies have to do that.
So it has to be about a police action. So they should register an FIR.
Why I'm saying this, I heard the statement. If we are compelled, then we shall know. You are making such a serious allegation. And you are saying not one person, but five women. So these women, and today, their identity shall not be revealed. That's the law today.
Yes.
So that should have happened. But for the last 2 days, a lot of talk has gone on, but that has not happened. Maria, I just want to sound one word of caution. Let there not be a class bias while we look at it. You see, there is a general perception, poor players, bad administrators. But there could be a lot of things which go behind the so-called poor players also.
No, but why this class bias? I mean, what is really this point? But Sudhanshu Mittal, will you not agree? Will you not agree with me when I say that it takes a lot of courage for women to come out and speak about it? They must have had no option. If you have a bronze medalist, gold medalist, these are men and women who have brought laurel to the country. And men are standing with these women. So there must be something horribly wrong. There's corruption. There's allegation of sexual harassment, exploitation.
Maria, you've seen the film called Chak De India. And a lot of lessons have to be learned from that film also. Because it's not all white and all black. We must deal with this issue on the merit of the issue. And that will follow only when specifics are outlined. Unfortunate part of it is all allegations are of a very general nature. There's nothing specific which is being said.
So shouldn't that be a subject of investigation? Sudhanshu Mittal, let the investigations begin. My question is simple.
Sure.
First, let it be generic. I mean, for the players to go to Jantar Mantar and instead of practicing, they have reached there. That takes, imagine their state of mind, sir. There has to be a great degree of sympathy, empathy.
Please understand, these are not the players which are in the ranking, the highest players today. That's the problem also. Please, I am sounding a word of caution. This might become a tool tomorrow. I mean, let us look at the merit of this. Issue is, you make specific complaints. You say, I have been sexually harassed. You say, look, I heard two...
No, but why should women... No. Why shouldn't it be seen that when Vinesh Phogat says that she has evidence that if anything, she'll be producing at the right moment, we should go with a version.
What is right moment?
Why? No. Why should we even look at the logic of conspiracy theories that is being given by this gentleman called Brij Bhushan, who's hardly a gentleman? He should resign. I mean, he is talking about some kind of conspiracy, talking about 3% wrestlers protesting, rest of the wrestlers are with him. I mean, who are they? Radhika,
I
please.
am not...
I'm going to come back to you, because the arguments are, I understand you have a ringside view. That is the reason why, but we find that entire argument very, very problematic. Sudhanshu Mittal.
If you will give me just 1 minute, and I will illustrate two cases. Just give me 1 minute. I will just illustrate 2 points and then let's see. I heard there were two allegations which were made. One allegation was that Tata Group had sponsored the team and the money was not given to the players. I have dealt with sponsorships. I run a federation which today has become a internationally acclaimed game, Kho-Kho. See, when team sponsorships are there, the sponsorships are for the development of the team and not individual players. So you have sponsorship for the training camps, you have sponsorship for their travel, you have sponsorship for a lot of things. Now, to expect that money to go to players may not be a fair proposition. Secondly, major allegation was the person was living in the rooms where the players were also living and the doors were open. Put this in fact, I got players who complimented saying that the sports administrators like to be living in 5 stars.
Mittal, aren't you not trivializing their concerns by saying that they are not aware of what this sponsorship money is for? These are athletes who understand whether that money is coming only for them or it is coming for the entire team. Yes, Radhika Khera, respond please. Let's have Sudhanshu Mittal and Radhika now.
It's really appalling what Mr. Mittal said, that we have to learn from some movies. I'm sorry, we don't need to learn from movies, and the government has to learn basic humanity. And this is not happening for the first time. It's hardly been a month when we saw that entire case of Sandeep Singh happening. Has that minister stepped down? He is still a minister. He has only resigned from one particular portfolio. I do not understand a simple thing. If there is such a big allegation, our sports persons are sitting at Jantar Mantar, and these are the people who have won laurels for the country. These are the people who the Prime Minister went out and clicked photographs with. The government is the first to take credit for every time they bring a medal for the country. But at this time, where is the Prime Minister? Is he busy feeding his peacocks? Is he busy in his dhol nagade bajana in Karnataka? Isn't this something which is of very major importance for the country? You just have all these lines, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao from Haryana. That minister is still there. There's such a huge thing that is happening from Jantar Mantar. It is our sportsmen, our sportswomen, and everybody is sitting over there. You don't trust those people. They are the ones who have won laurels for our country. It's very sad that they have to sit out like that. I mean, why are they not taking the resignation of that man? He should immediately resign. And if he is not found guilty, everything can be given back to him.
Extremely, disturbing. No, Sudhanshu Mittal, today I would be standing with these athletes, and I'll be standing particularly with women wrestlers. This is, if anything, if it is about their justice, then justice should be seen to be delivered. And all of you who have been in some way, no sir, all of you who have been some way association with Indian Olympic Association cannot appear to be sympathetic towards this Brij Bhushan. Yes,
we are
Sunita
not
Gudara.
at all.
Okay, let me speak now. Let me speak now.
Can I just complete in 10 seconds?
I am talking about the sports code.
Yes.
They should go and just dig out 85, 86, 87 page number where they have their own sports code rule that if any federation does not have sexual harassment committee, then the sports ministry has all powers to de-recognize the federation. Now that
why doesn't this federation
the champions
have
are going to?
That is good enough reason for for the sacking of Brij Bhushan.
So it's so simple, they didn't follow the rules. Just debar the federation. It's so simple. It is all.
I don't think Gudaraji even knows the rules. Gudaraji,
so
you know that the Supreme Court has just formulated
the rules very well.
Allow me to speak.
Sports code was
the
made
Indian Olympic Association Constitution has just been made by the Supreme Court.
You just said that you have ethics committee today.
You have no idea.
Were you sleeping all the time?
Please don't speak if you do not know.
Where is your sexual harassment committee? Where is your sexual harassment committee? Where is the sexual harassment committee of the sports ministry? What are you talking?
Miss Godara, please understand. You are making allegations which are not even substantiated. And secondly, Indian Olympic Association Constitution has just been made, and that Constitution is now being followed, and that has been made by the Supreme Court. It is not being made by any politician or anybody. So what does that say has to be followed?
For the girls of this country,
has to be for truth.
This is sexual
has to be for truth.
Allegation.
And somebody must come and forward.
You should have sexual harassment committee, which is the rule of a sports ministry. Which is the rule of a sports ministry. I'm not talking from my side,
There has to
it's
be.
A
Why
rule.
are we not talking about a specific allegation?
It's a sports code. You
Why
have to
shouldn't
follow
there be
it.
a specific
It's
allegation?
a sports
Tell me
ministry
that.
code. What are you talking?
You have no
my dear?
idea. You have
It
no
is
idea.
The sports ministry.
The Indian Olympic Association Constitution says anything which is contrary in the sports code shall not supersede the provisions of the Indian Olympic Association. So please read the Constitution before talking. You have no idea. I'm not getting into this trivial issue. My thing is, there should be a complaint which should be made. I am saying it is a very serious matter. And in this serious matter, a formal complaint must be made so that the truth can come out.
All
you're not interested in the truth.
IOA.
I am saying sexual harassment must be investigated. And you can only investigate if a complaint is been made.
Sexual harassment rule and regulations.
But somebody has to come forward and say.
You can debar the federation. It is your power. It is under your provocation.
You have no idea what you're talking.
It is under your jurisdiction. It is under your. I'm sitting here as a spokesperson. I know what happened in the drug abuse. I know what happened in the drug abuse case, PIL in High Court. Still, NADA has the sealed envelope where there are
I want to understand from you, Sunita Gudara, as a champion yourself. For these first that this particular federation doesn't have a sexual harassment committee, which is a must. So it should have been recognized by now, which hasn't been done. My question then to you is, ma'am, do you think there is something horribly wrong in the sense that is there a lot of exploitation that athletes have to undergo? And these men who are in position of authority actually misuse their position.
See, what happens? Two type of harassment. First thing, mental harassment. For those, they are champions, they are vocal, they raise voice, they are mentally harassed in the federations. It is a true story of all federations. And there are few athletes, those who are young, they have come for Olympic dream, for a national dream, or whatever. They are in the national camp. They are from the very humble background. They are very poor. They can't afford that much. Ministry, the government is giving so much to the federation for the national camp, so much money, financial support, which these athletes need. So they keep quiet. They can't raise their voice. So they are exploited. Young girls are exploited. Those who can't speak out. And now these young girls, those who are exploited, maybe for years, they look for some support, some kind of elite or senior athletes where they can share their problems, And in Wrestling Federation,
so are you hopeful then PT Usha would ensure course correction here?
Where is PT Usha? What is she doing? If there is no sexual harassment committee, she should come out and announce as a chief of IOA that we debar this federation. She has all these powers. Where is she? Talking will not do anything. Action.
Yes, so great degree of disappointment certainly. Great degree of disappointment certainly. Shagun, the point being made here, these are girls who are young. They come from small towns and villages of India. They have, they have a hope in their eyes. They are hoping that they would be able to capture the world. And then they face this kind of exploitation and harassment. There is everything going horribly wrong here as far as this particular federation is concerned. First, it doesn't have a sexual harassment committee. And then you have the president of this federation talking about a larger conspiracy. Do you think the point being made by Sudhanshu Mittal of they perhaps not understanding that this money comes for the entire federation or the entire team, and they should be understanding what is for them and what is for the entire team?
I want to I am the board member of Sexual Harassment Committee, so I know the rules of Sexual Harassment Committee. I am with the police department as Sexual Harassment Committee board member.
Yes, okay. Shagun.
I'm not on the board member of any Sexual Harassment Committee. No, one second.
Yes.
Yeah. All I feel is that there has to be a fair trial in every case, right? So both parties have to be heard. And in that case, like what I said earlier, I stick by that I think every federation, like the national, like I'm a shooter, the NRAI does have an athletes committee where we can go and we can, if we have any grievances, we can speak to a committee member and it will be addressed. So I think all federations need to have that. And as far as sexual harassment for girls or whatever, whichever I mean, it doesn't matter about the background. It is basically sexual harassment at the core of being sexually harassed. It can be any woman, anywhere.
Yes.
So we are all affected the same way.
Yes.
The idea is for us to have somebody to speak to. And if you don't have that, then that is where the first red flag is. You need to have somebody to go and talk about if you've experienced something without the whole conspiracy about or being fearful of not being taken off the team or being taken off camps or something. There has to be something like purely black and white, where you can be absolutely fearless and talk about if you've had an experience to a committee and they'll take it up. So what I feel is like it is harsh in both ways. Yes, being a girl, again, I'm saying it takes a lot of courage to actually go out there and say that you've been through.
In fact, just stay with us and hold on to your thoughts. We have a wrestler joining us. Pawan Saroha is joining us now. Pawan, मुझे ये बताएं कि ये हम देख रहे हैं कि अभी मीटिंग चल रही है स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्टर के साथ. क्या आपको लगता है रेजिग्नेशन के बाद ही ये सारे प्रोटेस्ट खत्म होंगे?
देखिए, अभी बजरंग विनेश ने बोला है कि जब तक हमें लिखित में कोई चीज़ नहीं मिलती है और जब तक वो बर्खास्त नहीं करते हैं, यही नहीं कि यही फेडरेशन, हर स्टेट की जो फेडरेशन है वो जब तक वहाँ से जितने भी उनके लोग हैं, जितनी भी उनकी टीम है, वो नहीं हटेगी जब तक हम इस धरने से उठने वाले नहीं.
ब्रिज भूषण ने कहा है कि आप लोग नेशनल लेवल पर नहीं खेलना चाहते हैं, आप लोग डायरेक्टली ओलंपिक्स में खेलना चाहते हैं. इसमें क्या सच्चाई है और किस तरह का यूजुअली ये इतना डिफरेंस क्यों बताया जा रहा है, ये इतना इशू बनता क्यों जा रहा है?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, हर प्लेयर नेशनल खेल के इंडिया कैंप में जाता है। जब भी अभी ये ओलंपिक मेडल तक पहुंचे हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि भी नेशनल नहीं खेला। हर प्लेयर ने हर नेशनल में खुद 6-7 बार का नेशनल गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट हूँ, और हर प्लेयर नेशनल खेल के कैंप में जाता है और ट्रायल देता है। और ये जितने भी अभी जो इल्जाम लगाया जा रहे हैं कि भी नेशनल नहीं खेलना चाहते, ओलंपिक मेडलिस्ट हैं, इनको थोड़ा तो क्राइटेरिया होना चाहिए जो कि इनको कैंप में शामिल करना चाहिए, क्योंकि इतने दिन से प्रैक्टिस करने में, वजन घटाने में जो दिक्कत होती है, तो इनके लिए इतनी तो वो होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये भी निचले स्तर से आए, ये भी जूनियर कैडेट थे, ये भी सीनियर में भी एकदम से तो थोड़ी आगे मेहनत करके ही आए हैं।
पवन, ये साल रेसलिंग के लिए बहुत ही अहम है, क्योंकि एशियन गेम्स हैं, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स हैं, फिर चैंपियनशिप, वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप भी है। सो प्रोटेस्ट ऐसे साल में हो रहा है, कितना नुकसान होगा?
देखिए, ये यहाँ पे जितने भी बैठे ना, जितने भी पहलवान, ये हमारे देश की करीम है, और ये मानो कि ओलंपिक पे भी और जो एशियन गेम्स उस पर पूरा असर पड़ेगा। मैं तो सरकार से विनती करता हूँ, हम प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी से, इसका जल्दी से जल्दी समाधान किया जाए, और ये समाधान अगर जितना लेट होगा उतना ही हमारे खिलाड़ियों के लिए नुकसान होगा।
हाँ, सो फेडरेशन भंग करने की बात चल रही है। सो अगर ये फेडरेशन भंग हो जाएगा या डिसॉल्व हो जाएगा, तो फेडरेशन चलाएगा कौन?
देखिए, वो सरकार का काम है कि अगला वो किसको ये मतलब ये पद देते हैं, वो कौन चलाता है, या साई को देते हैं, या सरकार अपने अंडर में लेती है, जो भी वो उनकी प्रावधान, लेकिन हमें ये फेडरेशन नहीं चाहिए।
Okay, Sunita, thank you so much for your time. Sunita, I want to understand from you. Here is a wrestler, protesting wrestler, who says that this entire federation should be dissolved. Do you think that is the way forward? Because if they do not have faith in all those who are ruling this or governing this federation, then that mistrust or distrust that is there will only escalate because of the situation that it is in presently.
See, as per rule also, they now this federation should be debarred, de-recognized, as per the sports code rule. Okay. Secondly, you see, they are not only Olympic medalists there at Jantar Mantar. I was in the morning there, you know, and I saw many national level athletes, young athletes. If this federation is not punished, whatever they are doing for that, they are violating rules. So the simple sports code is just de-recognize the federation. If they don't do it, then you know what will happen? All these national level athletes, I'm not talking of these Olympic medalists, I'm talking of those young cream which was there, you know, they will all be finished. The career of these young athletes will finish, because what federation do? If you raise voice, we will just ban you, finish you.
Scuttle those protests. We certainly hope that there is justice here and that there is no conspiracy that is looked into. Sudhanshu Mittal, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Sunita Shagun and Radhika Khera. Shifting focus.